Does anyone else just eat ice out of a glass because it cools them down? Or is that just something I do? Oh, the ice went down my throat.
She just wants to be beautiful, she goes.
Hello beautiful humans, my name is Paige and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for being here. I hope you're doing very, very well. First off, I have ice in my mouth because it's damn hot. In the summer I drink ice out of a glass. I don't know if anyone else does that, but I do. So if it looks like I've got something in my mouth, it's because it's ice. I normally wouldn't film with something in my mouth because that's rude. But at the moment it's so hot that I literally am about to die. But anyway, enough about that. Today I bring you a video that you guys have requested. I asked you guys on Instagram what you wanted to see, whether you wanted to see me film a LGBTQ and disability related video, or whether you wanted me to film a how I feel about the show Undateables video. An overwhelming amount of you said that you wanted to see the Undateables video. Now I will be doing the LGBTQ/disability video because that's something personally I really want to talk about. So if you did vote for that, then don't worry, that will be coming. But for today we're going to get into the Undateables. So I feel like if you come to this video and you've read the title, you know what the Undateables is. I feel like you're here for a reason. But if you don't know and you have no idea what I'm talking about, then let me explain to you a little bit. So the Undateables is a UK, I think it's purely just British. I don't know actually. A UK based TV show in which disabled people, be it learning or physical or long-term illnesses, find love. Oh, I love love. Love makes me happy. It's been running for about 8 seasons. It's been running a long time. Don't know how long for, but I'm gonna go with about 8 seasons. And it's fairly popular, I think. But it does divide opinion, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Everyone loves a controversy. This show has caused a lot of controversy, especially because of the name, and that's something I'm going to come to in a second. But what I do want to say before I get into my video on this is these opinions are entirely my own. This is just how I personally feel about it. You could think completely differently, and that's absolutely fine. I completely understand and I completely value your opinion. This is a video that I wanted to make because of a conversation I had on Instagram. Now, if you don't follow me on Instagram, let me just show you quickly. I posted this photo. This is a poster promo for the Undateables, which I saw on their Instagram page, and I decided to retweet it. Now, no one asked me to retweet it. I didn't, you know, no one of the Undateables asked me to do anything, but I thought I'm going to retweet this because I know a lot of you guys who watch me and who follow me are disabled, and I thought that would be a really cool invitation to you guys if you are interested, because they were recruiting for new people for the show. A few of my followers and actually good friends on social media said to me, Paige, why are you promoting that show? I don't think it's correct. I don't think that should be something you're promoting. They personally didn't like the show, and I really saw where they were coming from, but at the same time my view on that show has changed over the last couple of years, and I want to explain why. I thought it brought up a really interesting debate about how disability is presented. You guys know, if you've seen me before, that I am totally on board for trying to promote positive examples of disability and dating, and I had these people saying to me, but Paige, that isn't a positive portrayal of disability and dating. It's patronising, it's not putting us in a positive light. And it kind of got me thinking about how the show does portray disability in general, and I think there's two very contrasting viewpoints about this show that I want to explore and I want to give my opinion on. I'm not saying I disagree with them, it's really odd, and this is what was kind of confusing to me, because for such a long time I actually felt exactly the same way about the show. I remember when the show came out, and it is called the Undateables, and I remember seeing that and I was just like, that is disgusting. How dare they have a dating show for disabled people called the Undateables? That was implying that as disabled people we are undateable, and God knows you guys know how I feel about being perceived as undateable. I think it's absolute bollocks, and anything that's going to try and promote that, I'm just not on board with. The first kind of couple of seasons I didn't watch it because I didn't want to be part of something as a viewer that was derogatory to my beliefs. And I remember talking about this with my friends. One of my friends, who is actually disabled themselves, said to me, yeah, but Paige, have you noticed before the show starts, the un part of it, so the UN in the Undateables, drops off. Almost like breaking misconceptions of disability, saying this is undateable and this is making you shocked, but actually what we're saying is take the un away, and we're going to show you how people go from being perceived as undateable to dateable. Now, I don't know if that makes any sense. It's kind of really hard to explain without seeing it, so I'm going to put up the title of the show right now and just play that bit where the un drops off the dateables and see if you can see what I mean. My friend saying that to me was a really interesting concept because I hadn't really thought about that before. I hadn't really taken note of the title sequence. I'd just seen Undateable and thought, no, I'm not going to watch it, I refuse. It got me thinking, and I thought, okay, I'm going to watch this show because I haven't seen it and I'm judging a show on something I haven't seen. And I was so fully prepared to absolutely hate it and stand by what I say of it's a rubbish show and it's showing disability in a mean light. And I watched it and I actually wasn't that upset by it. I actually kind of enjoyed it and I didn't feel as upset by it as I thought I was gonna. Now, I just want to put it out there, since actually watching the Undateables, I have applied for the show myself 5 times. Yes, 5 times. I'm that lonely and single. I applied for it 5 times. I never got picked because, I don't know, I'm just taking it that they don't want me. But nevertheless, I have applied 5 times. So I'm coming from a point of view where actually watching the show changed my view on the show so much, I actually felt that I should apply for it. If you actually break down the show itself, it's very much like any other dating show. It's people finding love. They're filmed kind of in their houses. You get to know about them and their background and why they want to find love. You get to see them go on dates and you kind of follow them with the highs and the lows of dating. And at the end, you want to know if these people found love, and genuinely it has worked. Apparently there's been babies come from the show and there's been marriages come from the show, so they must be doing something right. But there is still this negativity towards it, and you're probably thinking, Paige, if you're saying all these great things, then how is there still negativity towards it? And I kind of want to answer that one as well, because there is a problem with this show, but I don't think it's coming from the show itself. A few of the kind of counter points that have come to me is, well, why can't disabled people just date on an average show? Why is there a specific show for people with disabilities dating? And I get what you're saying. I think disabled people should be able to date whoever they want, whenever they want, whether they have a disability or not, whether they're male, female, whatever. I think anyone should be able to date anyone, and I think shows should include that and have a very dynamic range of people they incorporate onto their shows. The Undateables isn't the only show that focuses on just one group of people. Recently in the UK, and I can't remember what the show's called, it's something like Wild for Love or like Love in the Countryside. that sounds like a really bad porno, but like it's something like that, where they focus purely on just people who are farmers finding love. And I didn't see that argument come up of people going, well, why is it just for farmers? There are groups of people who do find it difficult to meet someone. There are so many aspects that make dating really, really difficult, and it's not just whether you're physically able or not. It can be your job, it can be the part of the world you're in. And I think what the show is trying to do is not trying to segregate disabled people and able-bodied people. What it's trying to do is take a section of society who do struggle to find love for whatever reason and use that as a niche. You've got to bear in mind that TV and media and film and everything is so saturated nowadays that it's hard to come up with a original idea that people are going to want to watch. And the way you do that, and the way I've been taught to do that as a media student, is to find a niche, is to find a unique selling point. And at the time the show came around, people weren't doing shows about people with disabilities. Just like a year ago, people weren't doing shows for farmers. And I don't think that's trying to say farmers can't date accountants or disabled people can't date undisabled people. I think it's just tapping into a niche that is less recognised and maybe does need a little bit more help. I know dating's a nightmare. I wouldn't have applied for the show 5 times if I didn't think that me dating was difficult. But of course, when you have a niche that you're representing, it's the way you represent it which is really important. And I know a lot of people in my personal life and online who think that the Undateables represent disability poorly. They're represented with a derogatory view, a patronising view, and I really do see where that's coming from. For a long time I got patronising vibes from the show, but I actually don't think that is the show itself. I really genuinely don't. I think if you watch the show and purely look at the format, it's the same as every other dating show. What differs, I think, is people's perceptions of disability and dating that then is projected onto the show. Now, I don't know if that makes any sense, but what I'm trying to say is I think people socially take the show as a bit of a laughing stock, and I don't actually think that that's that show's fault. I think as a concept it's a great show. I've kind of said why I think that. The problem is, unfortunately, people who watch the show don't watch it as a genuine dating show for people with disabilities, but they watch it as a show where they can almost look at these people with disabilities and take the piss out of them, and I think that's disgusting. But unfortunately I think that's what happens. Now, a lot of people on this dating show are people with learning difficulties and autism and things that make social interaction just really difficult. And personally, I don't have those disabilities. I have family members who have autism, and I think what it comes down to is that the way their disability is viewed externally is not the same way mine is. And what I mean by that is, when you have a learning difficulty or a disability that you can't physically see, for example, you can see I'm in a wheelchair, people kind of tend to not take it seriously and almost kind of think it's silly, or that you're just stupid, or that you're just slow, or all these horrible misinformed conceptions because they can't see it. Therefore they don't process it the same. Am I making any sense? I really don't think I am. So then people do take to Twitter and other forms of social media and take the mick out of these people. I've seen really actually quite horrible compilations of YouTube where they've taken snippets of people who've been on this show and turned it into almost a mockery, when all it really is these people trying to date. That's where this idea of the show being patronising and misrepresenting disabled people has come from. It's come from others misinterpreting what the show is doing. Because for me, from the point of view as a disabled person who is very comfortable with their disability and who is very proactive about raising awareness for disability and dating, I think the show is a fabulous form to do that. It is putting disability out there. It does show that we all want the same wants and respect and love and all of that. If you are a disabled person who's married to an able-bodied person or dating an able-bodied person, or if you're a disabled person who's married or dating another disabled person, then that's absolutely fine. But there are some people who actually want a show like that because they feel safer, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I'm not saying you're wrong to think that the show is secluding disabled people. Maybe some disabled people don't feel a show where they are integrated with able-bodied people is something they'd feel comfortable with because they've never dated and they don't know how to take that. And I'm not saying that if you feel negatively towards the show you shouldn't, and you're wrong, because you're not. Like I said, and I've said from the start of this video, I've felt like it for a long time. But what I'm saying is, if you just break it down to a show, I really don't think that's where the problem lies. And maybe it's more of a social thing and a preconception of disability, which we need to try and break. Kind of the only way to break that is to put it out there, and I believe that that's all the show is trying to do. Well guys, that was a little bit more serious than I wanted it to be. I'm gonna have some more ice quickly, hold on, because I really, like, I'm so sweaty right now. So yeah, if you come here for me to kind of bash the show, I was never gonna do that. I don't feel that way about it, and actually I think I'm probably giving the unpopular opinion here, which, you know, is not a bad thing. I'm sure a lot of you will disagree, and I kind of want to hear your views because I think it's a really interesting topic. If you do have views on this, if you do think differently to me or feel the same as me, and let me know down below. I'd be super interested to hear your thoughts. And if you haven't seen the show, then why not watch it? I know there's episodes on YouTube. Genuinely let me know if you do think it's the actual show and how it's produced and why you think that. But if I'm wrong, I want to know. And maybe there's something I'm missing that I'm not seeing or understanding. That is the video. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like this video, then give it a thumbs up. That would be great. And if you haven't and you would like to, then why not subscribe? I'd love that. That'd be really nice. Please do that. Thanking you very much. Yeah. I'm gonna go and just spread out on a bed of ice somewhere, I think, because it's too much going on right now, too much. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, I have been me, so please always be you, and I will see you very soon for another video. Bye! really far away. Bye.